Alongside Brett Taveau again, author of Unpacking Greatness, a Chiefs book you can find on Amazon, longtime offensive coordinator in high school. Brett, we're going to break down the Chiefs 49ers. Very interesting, I thought. Nick Bosa talked about this, the defensive end for the 49ers. He said after the game, very interestingly, that the Chiefs were ready for him and played him a certain way. So we wanted to go over a few plays here to kind of talk about how the Chiefs did game plan against him. He's a very good player, but they seem to have a matchup ready for specifically what he was going to do against them.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, I mean, he's just he's an impact guy, and in order I think there's very it's kind of overrated where you can a lot of times point to coaching and say that those were wrinkles that were done that had an impact. I think some of those times that's stretched a little bit, but I think these are four good examples of where the play design really took advantage of how he plays.
All right, let's take a look into it and get into the film, like you said. But we're going to look at four plays here, and we'll start with this one: a CEH touchdown.
Yeah, so this is just an outside zone run, which we've broken down before. In fact, when we broke down the Indianapolis week, the outside zone run where he missed that A-gap cut. So this is the same play, and what you're going to see here, you've got it highlighted. Bosa's in a 9 technique, which is the outside eye of the tight end, and the Chiefs are going to use motion, which is going to cause this Will linebacker to bump over and create some really good angles. As you can see, the Will bumps into the A gap here. And so Bosa, I mean, he's got such a good get off, and he likes to get upfield. And what this does is you've got highlighted there, it makes Wiley's block easy. Now, that's, of course, relatively speaking, but blocking Nick Bosa is never easy.
It wouldn't be easy for me. It's easy for Andrew Wiley, yes.
Really all he has to do is just run him upfield, and this is just a very clear read for CEH that it's a B gap run. It creates, as you'll have illustrated, just a lot of space in the B gap. And then, of course, this combo block by Smith and Humphrey creates good movement on this 2-eye technique here. And this Will linebacker ends up fitting inside of that for some reason. The safety kind of fits inside as well. And you've got, Fortson locked on the corner, which is a good matchup given his length. And a lot of green grass there.
Yeah, and CHF will finish that off, but some great blocking in front. But again, taking advantage of seeing on film potentially that Nick Bosa likes to get upfield, likes to rush the passer, likes to be aggressive, using that aggressiveness against him in this particular play. Let's get to a different one here, and this is a sprint out here, and still the end of the first half.
Yeah, so there he is lined up, and he doesn't have a tight end here, but he's still that very wide technique, which is, a 9 technique, really. Even if you don't have a tight end, you can call him a 9 technique because it's as you get there, the ghost tight end.
So if there was a tight end there, he'd be on the outside of him. And so here's another.
So, they're going to move the pocket here, and basically Wiley, he's going to protect that inside gap. You see his hand is out there. He's got to make sure he slows down any rush from that inside gap, and then they're going to isolate the running back on Bosa, and they're able to legally cut. Now, there was one called back right before half, which was a very questionable call. It didn't look any different than the one we're looking at here, that they're able to cut and neutralize his pass rush.
And again, just another way you think he's getting upfield, and it's another way to move the pocket, get his hands down, and be able to sort of use that aggressiveness against him.
Yeah, and the Chiefs have had this in their package, this sprint out, right in the book last year, their third downs, there were probably 10 to 15 sprint out calls on third down off the top of my head. But here you see it, being able to move that pocket and slow those guys down, moving the launch point is massive.
So the very next play here, and I might have misspoke, I said end of the first half. I think this is actually third quarter. But very next play, so Bosa here, okay, he was aggressive. He got upfield, and he got chopped down. So what do you think can come on this next play? This is what the Chiefs do in the very next play.
Yep, so same alignment as you got there. And they're going to run jet sweep, which I think Hardman scored 3 touchdowns on jet sweep. Is that right? One was technically a pass. The other 2 were rushes. Maybe I'm off on that, but they were similar schemes. But as you see, Gray, at first he's going to step down, which kind of freezes him, then step outside, and that forces Bosa to come inside. here, which takes him, he's not able to go straight up the field. Where if he was able to go straight up the field, he probably makes a tackle. So he's got to come inside first. And what the Chiefs do is gain a blocker with Gray, and they don't have to block Bosa. You know, it's old option football. When you got a really good defender, you know, you don't block them, you read them, or you somehow make them not be able to impact the play by not being blocked.
I can see this being mind games for Bosa because the last play he was aggressive. He gets upfield, he gets chopped down by the running back. This play, you're just maybe a little bit more hesitant, and because of that, you take that half step away from him, and you're able to run right by him from Mecole Hardman, and like you said, get an extra blocker in the run game, and all of a sudden, Hardman's off to the races.
Absolutely, and it's so weird for those guys when they actually don't get blocked on a play because they're so used to having to defeat a block, whether you know they're pass rushing or defeat a zone block or a gap block or base block, whatever it might be. So to fire off the ball and not be engaged with anybody, it's just it's a weird feeling and possibly freezes them a little bit. But if you rewind it back there, Jesse, we'll look at this. Just amazing perimeter blocking here. So you gain Gray, as you said there, and then you've got excellent numbers.
Yeah,
right
so you
there.
Fortson here, and Gray actually ends up shielding off a couple because Fortson doesn't completely get his man blocked, but Gray's able to shield off two there. And then you got Wiley way down the field and Smith way down the field doing what those big guys love to do best.
And him as a runner too, like, yeah, he's got a great burst and he's so fast, but he seems to break tackles pretty well too. Like he doesn't seem to go down real easy when he's in space.
Yeah, and I think Patrick Mahomes said after the game too is he runs fast, but he's also in control. And what's interesting is they've ran this with Tyreek Hill a lot, and you notice I think Tyreek was a little bit more apt to get all the way to the sideline and step out of bounds. You see, like you said, Mecole Hardman is not afraid of contact here, kind of staying in bounds. I think that allows this play to go a little bit further too.
Yep.
All right, the last one we're going to talk about, and you talked about Nick Bosa, the weird times where you don't feel like you're getting blocked. So the Chiefs kind of play with him here again with this screenplay in the second half.
So yeah, he's on a different side now. I don't know if it was a sub package that they had or a call, but now he's on the opposite side in that very wide technique that we saw in the previous three clips. So yeah, they're gonna, basically the Chiefs do a lot of chipping with the running backs, tight ends, sometimes receivers. So that is a normal look. He has seen a lot of film on that. They did a lot of it during the game. So he's thinking, okay, this is just a chip. This is a drop back pass. And this is, I believe, 3rd and 20.
3rd and 20. Yes.
And the Chiefs were up 5 in the fourth quarter. So they're thinking, okay, let's kick a field goal and go up 8. Let's get 10 of this back, have a makeable field goal. But as we'll see here, the play just develops beautifully here. So the fake chip slows him down. It clears space for the screen. And he's got 3 or 4 good escorts out there in a lot of space, and McKinnon does a good job just, making something extra.
Small details, since we talk about the details here. I like how Tooney right here at the very beginning is giving Patrick Mahomes a thumbs up, kind of turning around like, hey, this is the look you want. And then if you look here, Orlando Brown too is kind of like pointing at McKinnon like, hey, you got to be sure right here, get Bosa, be sure to get Bosa. Again, kind of some small things there. There's some communication there, and maybe one accurate, one not, but it lends itself to this play. And again, they get Bosa upfield and take advantage of him being upfield.
Yeah, it sure worked out well.
All right. Well, Brett, anything else about these 4 plays? And again, the Chiefs, their game plan coming to this 49ers game, obviously the San Francisco came in as one of the top defenses in the NFL, and sort of how they played them to get all these openings in the pass game.
Yeah, no, I think, we've pretty much covered the basics and a lot of the details there, but just, I think just great design and great execution on all 4 of those snaps to be able to neutralize a guy that's very difficult to neutralize.
All right, Brett, thanks so much for your time. And thanks to all of you guys out there for checking out the details here at the Kansas City Star.